Oh, there you are, YouTube. Today I watched a movie called Can You Ever Forgive Me? The story of Lee Israel and her forgeries, right? Would that be the right word? Yeah. Forging signatures and, writing up these letters, like that you would send somebody, writing them up, falsifying them, inventing them, and signing them as if they were written by these great literary figures, right? And then selling them to various places for, sort of basically as autographs, like selling autographs essentially. And then how she did that, partnered up with somebody and continued to do so, and then eventually got caught and got in trouble. And the movie stars Melissa McCarthy as Lee Israel, and then partner in crime was Richard Grant, and it's a really good movie. Both of them nominated for Oscars, by the way, which I think definitely deserving. And what I thought was interesting about it, as I was watching it, like the movie takes place in the 90s, right? Like early 90s. And as I was watching it, I was like, this not only takes place in the 90s, but it feels like a 90s movie made by Nora Ephron. And I like leaned over to my wife and I was like, doesn't this kind of feel like a Nora Ephron movie if it was, she were to do something, maybe a little bit more dramatic than normal? I'm just like, yeah, it kind of does. And then Nora Ephron comes into the film, like not her, but Melissa McCarthy's character Lee Israel, I guess would act like she was Nora Ephron on the phone with people. And Nora Ephron sent her a cease and desist order to stop impersonating her on the telephone, which I thought was hilarious because this entire time I'm thinking this feels like a Nora Ephron movie. But yeah, is it Richard E. Grant? Richard A. Grant. Richard E. Grant, pretty sure. Am I right? I don't know. This is a one take, so I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to either be right or wrong. Yeah, both of them nominated, also nominated for screenplay. So it only got 3 Oscar nominations. Don't believe it won any of them. I think they were all just nominations, but acting categories, even the writing, I think they were great. I think the production design was great too because it just legit felt very early 90s to me, and the filmmaking style itself, and that's what I really appreciated because it just felt like a nice mid-budget film from the 90s. Like it was like watching a more maybe dramatic Nora Ephron movie, and I don't know, that just felt really good. Even though there was a lot of serious stuff happening, a lot of crime going on, there was still humor in the movie. It wasn't like ultra serious or anything, but I lost my train of thought earlier. But basically, all I'm just trying to say is it was a very almost nostalgic movie in a way because of the production design, because of how it felt, and how it felt like a movie that came from the 90s, and I just really appreciated that. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if it was just influence that sort of crept into the film, but it was fantastic. Definitely a movie that I recommend. It's a story that I hadn't heard before. I guess when the movie first came out, I had heard the story then and was interested in seeing the movie. Never really got around to it. So yeah, tonight was my first viewing, which was nice. I'm very late on watching it because I think it came out in 2019. Yeah, it did. So yeah, I'm late in watching it, but I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it. I wasn't like putting it off for any reason. It's just like when movies that are I used to watch any and every movie that was nominated for any Oscar, but since having kids, don't have that same amount of time. So I focus on the best picture lineup, and then if I can get to all of the actors and actresses, I will watch them, but I don't always get to all of them. So yeah, it just doesn't always happen, and that's why it took so long for me to finally get around to this movie. And I regret it because it was great, and I don't know, I would have liked to have had that feeling of 90s cinema available to me earlier than just today. But yeah, I definitely recommend this movie and to check it out. I want to read more up on the actual story because, like I said, I haven't really heard about it until this movie came out. You know, I didn't grow up hearing about it. I'm not sure how big of a news story it was, and also when it was happening, I was pretty young. But I kind of want to read up more on it because I mean, the movie was interesting, so I'm sure the real story is pretty interesting as well. So, recommend it, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.